Making headlines for this week of September the 14th. Ho-hum. Global cabal and their media attempting to stir up more false flag rhetoric, attempting to scare the world again. Suicide in Japan. Japan's Minister of Financial Services commits suicide on somewhat suspicious terms on World Suicide Prevention Day. Disclosure news. Several items on the disclosure agenda, including an exciting announcement from the InLight radio team. And Blossom Goodchild becomes the 12th speaker lined up to participate in the 2012 Scenario Conference.
With news around, upon, within, and beyond our planet, the program making disclosure official. This is Cosmic Vision News. Here is Jeffrey West.
Greetings and blessings to all. It seems some rather serious rumblings are beginning to take place in several different locations around the world this week, and it is really no surprise, given the emphasis that the cabal is desperate to keep the memory of 9/11 alive while fueling energies of negativity towards Muslims with continued lies about the non-existent group Al-Qaeda. For those who do not already know, yes, I did say non-existent. The following is a clip from a BBC documentary about the alleged Al-Qaeda group.
Even bin Laden's displays of strength for the Western media were faked. The fighters in this video had been hired for the day and told to bring their own weapons. For beyond his own small group, bin Laden had no formal organization until the Americans invented one for him. In January 2001, a trial began in a Manhattan courtroom of 4 men accused of the embassy bombings in East Africa. But the Americans had also decided to prosecute bin Laden in his absence. But to do this under American law, the prosecutors needed evidence of a criminal organization, because as with the mafia, that would allow them to prosecute the head of the organization, even if he could not be linked directly to the crime. And the evidence for that organization was provided for them by an ex-associate of bin Laden's called Jamal Al-Fadl.
During the investigation of the 1998 bombings, there is a walk-in source, Jamal Al-Fadl, who's a Sudanese militant who was with bin Laden in the early 90s, who has been passed around a whole series of Middle Eastern secret services, none of whom want much to do with him, who ends up in America and is taken on by the American government effectively as a key prosecution witness and given a huge amount of American taxpayers' money at the same time. His account is used as raw material to build up a picture of Al-Qaeda. The picture that the FBI want to build up is one that will fit the existing laws that they will have to use to prosecute those responsible for the bombing. Now, those laws were drawn up to counteract organized crime, the mafia, drugs crime, crimes where people being a member of an organization is extremely important. You have to have an organization to get a prosecution. And you have Al-Fadl and a number of other witnesses, a number of other sources who are happy to feed into this, who've got material that looks at in a certain way, can be seen to show this organization's existence. You put the two together and you get what is the first bin Laden myth, the first Al-Qaeda myth. And because it's one of the first, it's extremely influential.
The picture Al-Fadl drew for the Americans of bin Laden was of an all-powerful figure at the head of a large terrorist network that had an organized hierarchy of control. He also said that bin Laden had given this network a name, Al-Qaeda. It was a dramatic and powerful picture of bin Laden, but it bore little relationship to the truth. The reality was that bin Laden and Ayman Zawahiri had become the focus of a loose association of disillusioned Islamist militants who were attracted by the new strategy. But there was no organization. These were militants who mostly planned their own operations and looked to bin Laden for funding and assistance. He was not their commander. There is also no evidence that bin Laden used the term Al-Qaeda to refer to the name of a group until after September the 11th, when he realized that this was the term the Americans had given him.
The BBC may not have gotten this information quite accurate either, because there appears to be further evidence that bin Laden was working with a group in the US leading up to September the 11th. An article from London's Guardian.co.uk website, dated from November in 2001, reported that bin Laden had apparently visited a US medical base in Dubai in the month of July. It was also alleged that a CIA agent met bin Laden there. If this is true, this is likely where the name Al-Qaeda may have been first proposed. The name Al-Qaeda, however, is not a real name. According to the website dailypaul.com, the word Al-Qaeda literally translates to the database, and it was allegedly the name of the computer file linked to thousands of mujahideen who were recruited and trained with the help of the CIA to defeat the Russians. From here, it has been alleged that bin Laden turned his attentions to the West after having been trained. This, however, does not appear to be true either. Numerous documentaries, including Loose Change and In Plain Sight, have more than adequately documented abundant evidence showing the official story of 9/11 to be a blatant lie. As well, numerous professional groups, as reported last week on CVN, have begun exposing from their professional experience why events of 9/11 could not have happened according to the official story. I was in Washington on the morning of September the 11th this week at my hotel between Dulles Airport and downtown Washington. The TV was on, covering the memorial ceremonies. I could not believe that 11 years later, these politicians were still attempting to perpetuate these lies on mainstream media. I asked the man working at the desk if I could turn off this rhetoric. He smiled and wholeheartedly agreed. As I walked through the airport, I saw the headline on the cover of the newspaper USA Today. It read, "As time passes, how should the nation mark September the 11th?" Without hesitation, the first thing that came to my mind was, how about with the truth? Republican presidential nominee Mitt Romney used the day to renew calls for a stronger resolve in acting against evil. In speaking to a group of the National Guard, he reminded them that the world is a dangerous place, although he did not tell them that the danger was people like the one who was speaking to them that day. He thanked them for their service, without telling them that they were killing and dying to protect the interests of the Dark Cabal and not the interests of the people of their country. Sadly, all of this is still relevant because all of the events that have taken place globally since that date, and every one of those events, is tied to the lies and frauds that were carried out on September the 11th, 2001. The reasons for September the 11th in the first place are still not fully clear. There are several stories, one of which involved the introduction of a new global economy that was to replace the debt-based fractional reserve model of banking and to remove the power from the Dark Cabal. This is also linked to an alleged surrender of the dark members of our galactic families to the good members according to divine law that was to take place in 1995. At that time, it was alleged that the Anunnaki had surrendered, but that a rogue group had remained on Earth, and they continued to try to impose their will and control upon a sleeping humanity. However, because humanity did not have the will nor the desire to awaken to the truth, the good galactic families were unable to intervene. They could only continue to assist the living entity that is Gaia, our planet, to help keep her alive, while sending energies to slowly help humanity to awaken. The last 11 years have been the awakening of humanity, with more and more standing up and speaking out. More are questioning the truth of 9/11 and also asking more and more about the disclosure of our galactic families. What is clear is this: every politician from the smallest town to the largest city in every country linked to the cabal, and these are primarily the NATO countries, are complicit in participating in the cover-up, either directly or indirectly. They have not served their constituents and thus are in violation of their oaths. By supporting all the wars that have been fought based on lies, this has made them guilty of crimes against humanity and against our planet. When all this stops is when the people of the world finally begin speaking with a unified voice of truth, understanding, and knowledge, but also with a voice of compassion and service to all. Turning to the events of the past week, we begin in Libya. Cosmic Vision News does not normally like to give energies to acts of violence carried out by the Dark Cabal, but in light of the significance of this event, its proximity to the events of 11 September, and the potential for humanity to react negatively, a choice is being made to cover this story. All that is really known is that there are people upset over a video that allegedly dishonors those of the Muslim faith. As I have not seen this video, I am not aware of its contents, and therefore I cannot confirm this either way. My inner self is telling me that this may not be a video I need to see. At this time, it is not fully clear as to when and how the video was released. There appears to be some suspicion around the identity of the alleged filmmaker, either in terms of his intent in making the movie and also having it appear at just the appropriate time to continue stirring up anti-Muslim feelings over 9/11. The website for the local CBS affiliate in Washington ran an article the next day reporting that federal officials have apparently identified an individual related to this film. A false name of Sam Basile was linked to the posting of a clip of the movie back in July. An investigation involving the Associated Press traced the name via a used mobile phone to the name of Nakula Basile Nakula, who is alleged to be at least involved in, if not responsible for, the movie Innocence of Muslims. However, it appears that this may not have been the original movie at all. A deeper investigation has revealed that the film appears to have been altered, with certain words being added, including the name of the Prophet Muhammad, but it does not match the movement of the lips of the individual speaking on the video. One of the actors in the film, Cindy Lee Garcia, indicated that the movie was originally called Desert Warriors. In conversations with the cast and crew of the film, they are reporting that this was not the intent of the project at all, and at no time were there ever any anti-Islam or anti-Muslim script used. According to Garcia, the director used the name Sam Basile, and he indicated that he was Egyptian. The story gets more complicated from here and is really not worth reporting. Those wishing to learn the deeper background to the film and the people involved can follow up with the links in the summary to the show. It appears, however, that an original movie has been taken and altered, apparently with the specific intent of fanning the flames of anti-Islam and anti-Muslim sentiment. As messages from our galactic and celestial families have been indicating, it is getting harder and harder for the Dark Cabal to achieve anything of a dark intent because it is being exposed by the light much more quickly at this time. People began to awaken to suspicious nature of events surrounding the shootings in Colorado very quickly, and many began questioning the official version within a very short period of time. Also, in this story, it appears that something is being exposed very quickly, and whatever the intent was will hopefully be exposed quickly, so people will not choose to feed the Cabal's need for anger and fear of the people. In an article that appeared on CNN, the network reported that Ambassador Stevens died trying to build a better Libya. Regular listeners may recall a commentary given on CBN several weeks back about how the media uses certain language in perpetuating its messages to the people. This story offers one such example. Discernment is required when looking at the source of information because the Cabal's definition of building a better country will not be the same as the Libyans, nor will it be the same as those who support a free and abundant planet for all. What is also not known is whether Mr. Stevens was in the process of speaking out on the lies of the Cabal-controlled government, perhaps giving a reason for his untimely death, while allowing the cabal to reignite the flames of anger against Muslims for their alleged involvement in 9/11. How appropriate and perhaps blatantly obvious was this event, so conveniently timed on 9/11. Nothing like another false flag event to get people worked up into fear again. Former East-West Bureau Chief for Forbes magazine Benjamin Fulford, in commenting about the death of the American envoy, said that the murder of the U.S. ambassador in Libya, the staged flag raising at the U.S. embassy in Egypt, and all that are fake incidents being run by the Nazis' New World Order faction, who are trying to provoke Christians and Muslims into fighting each other before merging them into one group and using them to invade Asia and set up a world fascist government. It is their problem, reaction, solution formula that they have used time and time again. We are demanding that they cease and desist such antisocial and evil behavior and allow the world peace that we all so strongly desire. CBN will post a link or two to some of the background to this story for any who are interested. I personally am choosing not to give too much energy to this story. I would, however, like to do my very best to help soften any negative energies that are rising up because of this unfortunate event. CBN makes a plea to all people of the world, but especially those who are feeling strong energies of polarization, either against Muslims or against Americans or white people in general, or Christians. You are being led down a path towards committing violence. Your leaders and those controlling the secret groups that have hijacked governments around the world are playing you off each other, hoping that you will get angry enough to kill each other so they will not have to do it. Actually, if the messages of the galactic families are correct, they can no longer do it. So their only option is to make humans get mad at each other so that they will kill and act on behalf of the Dark Cabal, even without their knowing it. We are entering a time of peace, and every human desires to know and feel this experience of true peace. It is a time to lay down one's weapons and begin speaking together. A time will come when small weapons will no longer be allowed to be used. The local CBS affiliate in Washington reported on September 13th that federal authorities have allegedly identified the filmmaker responsible for the film. I have not yet had time to fully look into this story, so I'm not fully qualified to offer a meaningful assessment. I would, however, invite the listener to dig more deeply, regardless of the official story you are hearing about this event and about this individual allegedly responsible. Is it possible that this individual is being set up, much like the alleged shooter in Colorado not so long ago? Ask within and begin asking externally. To all people, please look at the pattern of events and the proximity to 11 September and try to observe what is very likely happening. The Dark Cabal is very likely seeking to stir up greater pain and hatred, as this is how they keep their power. They need you to get angry, just as the Emperor and Darth Vader attempted to get Luke Skywalker in Star Wars to release his anger so his transformation to the dark side of the Force would be complete. Luke, however, does not comply, and this forces the Emperor to get angry and try to kill him. The wisdom of Master Yoda remained in his heart. A Jedi's strength flows from the Force, but beware, anger, fear, aggression, the dark side are they. Once you start down the dark path, forever will it dominate your destiny. In Cairo and other parts of the Middle East, events boiled over there also in response to the film that has apparently put Muslims in a very negative light. AlJazeera.com and RussiaToday.com report that anti-U.S. sentiment is running very high in these regions. The riots are in response to what is being called the anti-Muslim bias of the U.S. government. I am making an appeal to the people of the Middle East to see through the games that the Dark Cabal is playing and to not give in to their desire to fight and kill. I think I can say to all people in the Middle East and around the world feeling anger at these times that there are many non-Muslims who are as equally frustrated with these games. So it is time to focus together, not on getting revenge, but on co-creating something new together. In a book I self-published years ago, I wrote a series of apologies to numerous groups around the world for the purposes of healing. This included the First Nations, the women of the world, minorities, the lesbian, gay, bi, and transgender communities, the minorities, the children, the Dark Cabal, and also our galactic families, among others. Last week, in the spirit of healing and peace, I offered an apology to the people of Iran. This week, I offer an apology to the people of the Muslim faith worldwide as a member of the group of people from whom I come who have been responsible for your mistreatment and dishonor. In a spirit of oneness, I see the part of you that is me and the part of me that is you. I acknowledge the pain and suffering that you and your families have tolerated as a result of lies that were made up by individuals who do not represent me or who do not have my consent for their actions. I offer an apology from my heart to you all and ask that you find the strength and in the true spirit of what I believe was meant by the word jihad, to conquer the battle that rages within your hearts, to see that we are all connected in a very profound way. Use the strength of your personal jihad to rise up with many of us all over the world in peacefully telling our leaders that they no longer represent our interests, nor do they have our consent to kill others and harm our planet. I invite you to walk alongside, not ahead and not behind, but together as we claim a new planet and co-create based on higher energies of love, compassion, forgiveness, and service to humanity, our planet, and soon our galactic families. Peace is an inner choice that can only be made by you, and I hope that you will choose it with me. I am sorry for any choices I have made, consciously or unconsciously, that have helped to create this situation. I choose to forgive myself, and I ask you to forgive yourselves, and perhaps together we can forgive each other and address the true source of the problem with unity, strength, compassion, and love. Thank you, and I love you. As we look at some of the events unfolding over this past week, it may certainly look to some that things are not moving in a positive direction at this time. This is indeed part of the test to determine who is ready, willing, and able to hold the vision of truth, peace, and light in face of what the Dark Cabal is attempting to throw at the world. In Japan, it was reported that on Monday, Financial Services Minister Tadahiro Matsushita was found dead in his apartment. The death is being ruled as a suicide, while some sources revealed that a tabloid newspaper was soon to reveal details of the minister's alleged affair with another woman. There are other sources indicating that Mr. Matsushita was struggling with the pressures of his job. In his weekly update messages over the past few weeks, Benjamin Fulford has been indicating that major changes are unfolding within the Japanese political structure. In commenting on the alleged suicide of Matsushita this week, Fulford actually took it to the next level by calling it a full-on murder, the result of an alleged attempt by the Dark Cabal to extort more money from the Japanese. Fulford does go into some detail about some of the plans that are being attempted by the Cabal, although he does also say that Satan has now left this universe and that you, the members of the P2 Masonic Lodge, are a bunch of old men about to go to jail. This would suggest that regardless of what plans may be attempted, very little, if any, success will be achieved, at least at a significant global level. As with all news sources, use your higher discernment in reading the full message. Suicide rates in Japan and South Korea are reported to be particularly high among Asian countries. It is fairly common knowledge that Asian cultures place a very high emphasis on personal honor, and when one has been dishonored, suicide has often been believed as a way of regaining at least some honor in taking responsibility for one's choices. Mr. Matsushita's alleged suicide came on the same day as the World Health Organization's World Suicide Prevention Day. Now, maybe I'm off base here, but does anyone else see the irony in a global institution calling for the prevention of suicide deaths when so many other global institutions are complicit in actions that intentionally are killing people all over the planet? In China now, it seems the man who is to become China's next leader has disappeared. According to John Garnott, Beijing correspondent of the Sydney Morning Herald, reported that Xi Jinping has been mysteriously absent for at least 8 days, just weeks before he is slated to inherit the leadership of the Chinese Communist Party from Hu Jintao. Mr. Xi canceled an appointment with U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton within this period also. Rumors are abound of possible reasons for the absence, and there is speculation within the circles of veteran analysts and insiders that other significant changes may be in the works in the Chinese political infrastructure. If true, this would be in alignment with the messages from the galactic families that indicated that there would be positive leadership changes around the world as continued changes unfold. If it has not been clear in the past, perhaps it is beginning to become more clear now that creating a better world will not come from our global leaders. The evidence is abundantly clear that leaders do not care about humanity, nor do they care about the health of our planet. Disclosure is slowly moving more and more into the mainstream consciousness, but it is time for things to move even more quickly. Over the last 60 years or so, information has slowly been released, but institutions and media controlled by the dark cabal have limited what is made available to the world, and particularly more so in North America. Stephen Bassett at ParadigmResearchGroup.org has continued his campaign of keeping both the public and government officials aware of the issue of disclosure since the White House opened up a website to allow people to sponsor petitions for government response. Mr. Bassett has recently posted his 5th petition, and this one focuses on both the truth embargo and the latest information coming out relating to the mother of the current UFO movement, the events at Roswell. People can go to support this petition at the website above and also their Facebook page. For many around the world, the issue of disclosure really is a non-event, as so many countries are so used to seeing activity in their skies. It has been primarily in North America where the military-industrial cartels and their mainstream media partners have been complicit in the cover-up of this information and also of technologies that can readily transform our planet. One video offering information about the existence of galactic civilizations of a non-Earth origin is a film called The Day Before Disclosure, directed by Terje Toftenes, and produced with a skilled team at New Paradigm Films. This film starts by asking a few questions for thought.
What if we were not alone? What if the hundreds of thousands of people claiming to have seen unidentified flying objects in fact had been witnessing extraterrestrial spacecraft? What if the thousands of people all over the world who tell about their encounters with alien beings through friendly contact or even forced abductions were actually telling the truth? What if our governments had known about an ET presence for more than half a century? If they were in possession of alien technology that had the potential of changing how our world is run? And they chose to keep the public in the dark through a secret campaign of suppressed information. What if that campaign acted as a chain around the ankles of humanity, keeping us from rising to a whole new level of consciousness and understanding of ourselves, our planet, and the universe around us? And what if that campaign ended tomorrow?
It's one of these currents of history that won't be denied. The truth is going to come out, and when it does, it's going to be explosive. So once we get that out, we will go back and completely reassemble the 20th century, rewrite it in a way, and may have to go back and rewrite a significant portion of the entire last 12,000 years.
This is the greatest story in human history. And the reason it is the greatest story in human history, it is the greatest story of human history.
The 90-minute video offers interviews and information on disclosure from countries around the world, including these examples.
But what about Russia and the former Soviet Union?
Russian Navy has not been known to reveal its secrets, but Russian Navy has been known to be in the forefront of the UFO and USO research. And we have reports coming basically from all corners of the world, be it the South Georgia Island or the Barents Sea, or for example, especially the Sea of Okhotsk and such lakes like the Lake Baikal. They had encountered not only gigantic underwater objects and submarines who could move at incredible speeds, and the Soviets just could not catch up with them. They had also encountered disks that would basically fly out from under the water, go into the sky, separate into different objects, come back together, fly away. They had encountered a phenomenon which was called kvakery, from the Russian word kvakать, meaning to emit a sound like frogs would do. What it meant is that Soviet submarines, especially in the Atlantic area, would find gigantic moving objects and create depths of the sea. Objects that would emit certain sounds that kind of reminded them of croaking, but they were different sounds. They could do nothing about this, but the Soviets became very nervous because these gigantic objects would accompany them. And of course, they thought the Americans came up with a new way to track Soviet submarines. They found out this was not so. And I want to bring your attention to the country I was born in, Ukraine, 1986 Chernobyl phenomenon. Well, I should not call it that, Chernobyl tragedy. What happened is that according to a number of witnesses, when the explosion took place, a UFO, a sphere, a fiery sphere, had been sighted in the area, and it sent a ray of light, of something, towards the area of the explosion to diminish the effects of the nuclear explosion itself.
In Turkey, one of the most amazing recent cases is from the town Comburgos, an hour away from Istanbul, where a security guard captured astonishing UFO footage over a 3-month period in 2007. The film clearly shows the outline and the structure of the object, and also what seems to be the silhouette of two beings inside. The film has been thoroughly checked by a governmental scientific institution.
In the official report, it says very clearly that this is not a hoax at all. This is not a computer-animated hoax or a model or anything like that. There is a physical object in the picture, in the footages, that we could not identify. They categorized them as unidentified flying objects.
Astonishing video has also been released from Mexico. Military gun camera shots of traveling UFOs hit the news in 2004. And even more astonishing, fleets of UFOs were seen and filmed over several cities. As a result of the rising national interest in the UFO issue in Mexico, one of their main broadcasters has run a 2.5-hour show every Sunday night the past 15 years, presenting the latest UFO documentation.
Well, I have a television program every Sunday night from 5:30 to 8 o'clock. It's prime time in the Mexican television. And we present the news around this phenomenon. It means the most recent videos, the most recent photographs, the most recent cases, the investigation behind that, the actuality. Many people in the media and even the public have been brainwashed by the scientists who don't want to investigate this. But there is enough evidence, scientifically proved, based, that can be investigated and presented to the scientists. And they have to accept and agree that this phenomenon is real. There is no question in my mind. I'm a journalist. I've been a journalist for almost 40 years. And I know because I've seen them and because I know it's true.
There are many sources and many references of people and information offering information about the issue, but very few, if any, that actually take voices of the world to make an announcement and an official people's declaration to the leaders. The only way that meaningful, peaceful, and life-honoring change will occur is if the people of the world take up the task of bringing change to the world. Part of the challenge is that the people of the world do not have access to the tools and technologies as readily as the Cabal does. Humanity and our planet need some assistance, and again, it is up to humanity to reach out and ask for help before it can be given. This is part of the universal law by which our galactic families have operated. This week, the Inlight Radio Group is excited and very proud to be launching a video announcing the formal global disclosure of our galactic families by people of the world to the global leaders. The genesis of this particular Inlight Radio project came from 2012 Scenario founder Steve Beko. The video, entitled, "I Know My Galactic Family Is Here, Do You?" and represents more than just photos and video clips of examples of starships and contact experiences. It is also a video affirming with courage and conviction the knowledge and belief that our galactic families are not only here, but that they are here in loving service. This service includes both our planet Gaia and also to those of humanity who are ready, willing, and able to receive them, their assistance, and their love. The group and participants understand and make no claim that this video represents or speaks for any who do not resonate with disclosure. Those involved do hope, however, that the people of the world will resonate with it and feel empowered to take up a call to create projects of their own personal disclosure, announcing confidently to the world their knowledge of this and their desire to co-create a new planet with health, true peace, and abundance for all. Perhaps some may feel called to create local and national media campaigns of personal disclosures. The Inlight Radio disclosure video was produced by Graham Douillet, and he had these thoughts to offer on the project.
One of our main goals with all the Inlight Radio programs is to raise awareness about our star brothers and sisters, that they're family, that they're here to help, and that they come in peace. Steve Beko, co-host of An Hour with an Angel, had a terrific idea of creating this video to advance that effort, but also to formally announce the presence of our galactic family. The video does an excellent job speaking to how our star brothers and sisters have been with us since the beginning and how they're helping Earth and humanity and how they're involved with the ascension process. It's our hope that this will be widely shared to bring hope and awareness about the presence of our galactic family. We've had a tremendous amount of enthusiasm and involvement on this project from many people who are so excited to welcome our star brothers and sisters as we co-create a wonderful future together.
In the preparation stages of this video, a consultation with the Council of Love and Archangel Michael via channel Linda Dillon allowed Archangel Michael to share these comments on the project.
We love this idea. We have told you repeatedly, disclosure does not come from government. So it can come from the masses. And dear heart, if you are not the masses, then who is? It is common knowledge. Of course it is disclosure, but it is also common knowledge. So let us talk about it in a very forthright manner. We love this idea, and it is important in terms of credibility that it literally be a beautiful production, that it is pleasing to the senses, that it is soothing yet exciting and getting people's creative imaginations and juices running.
To the leaders of the world, the people are speaking to you now. You have had your opportunity to demonstrate your abilities to lead us. You have not honorably kept your promises to us. We, however, choose not to turn to violence and control as you have done. We choose instead to create from peace, compassion, and love. Through your choices and actions, we, the people of the world, now understand better the kind of world that is deserved by all people and not just the privileged few. We ask and invite all help and assistance allowed to us by divine universal law from the celestial realms and the loving and honorable members of our galactic families in helping us to reclaim our planet in true peace, health, and abundance for all. The people know now that our galactic families are here. Do you?
Je sais que notre famille galactique est là. Et toi?
Galaktik ailemin burada olduğunu biliyorum. Ya siz?
Ich
weiß, dass unsere galaktische Familie hier ist. Weißt du es auch?
我知道我的银河家人在这儿，你呢？
我知道我嘅銀河系家庭就喺呢一度，你呢？
Я знаю, что моя галактическая семья уже здесь. А вы?
我知道我嘅銀河系屋企人喺度，你呢？
Je sais que ma famille galactique est ici. Et vous?
Ako, alam ko na nandito na ang ating mga kapamilya na nanggagaling pa sa kalawakan. Ikaw, alam mo?
أنا أعرف أن عائلتي من المجرة هنا وأنت؟
तुम galactica का नुकसानी कराई कर रहा है yes kita इस दुख
मुझे मालूम है मेरी गैलेक्टिक फैमिली यहाँ पर है क्या आपको मालूम है
sí yo sé que los seres cósmicos están aquí y tú
The video is now available for viewing on Inlight Radio's YouTube channel, and the link will be posted on the 2012scenario.com website and can be found in the summary to this show posted on the blog at greenprintforlife.org and other social media sources. Cosmic Vision News has also posted a petition for disclosure aimed at putting pressure on the owners of the petition website Avaaz to give attention to this issue, as this one announcement has the potential to fix virtually every other problem currently known to humanity. The link to this petition is www.bit.ly/small w, capital P, capital M, small w, capital R, small b, and will be posted in the summary. We encourage you to start making disclosure official. Be creative, be informative, but also be in light and fun. It is a time for joyous celebration as we begin to release the bonds of our enslavement and embark on this new, exciting journey. CVN continues to be the news source making disclosure official. I know my galactic family is here. Do you? In another disclosure-related report, Jay Van Leer, an investigative journalist who has published several articles, including disclosure material on a website called realitysandwich.com, shares a report from some of his research and experiences.
I'm an author and investigative journalist focusing on extraterrestrial and other cosmic beings' influences on Earth from the antiquated past to the present. I have had 15 profound UFO sightings in my life that have synchronistically steered me down this path. Much of what I have focused on in my scholarship is unveiling the dark cosmic entities behind the cabal. The Akashic reader and spiritual philosopher Rudolf Steiner, I believe, gave some very revealing information in this regard. Already in lectures of 1917, he predicted that in the near future, the dark cabal would use inoculations against humanity. In his work, he revealed much about the interests, machinations, and other influences, not always of a negative context, behind the Luciferic forces, the fallen portion of the angelic order of the Angeloi, the Asuras, Sorath the Sun Demon, and the Ahrimanic forces, led by the cosmic being known as Ahriman, or Satan, from Zoroastrian mythology. Steiner coined each as a collective of forces, which has led me to believe there are a number of cosmic beings enraveled in each. He indicated that currently in our evolution, our Ahrimanic forces are those vying the most desperately for control of humanity and Earth. In my own cosmic investigative research, I have made these connections where I can to the cabal. I have also focused much on the many more light-oriented cosmic beings in the cosmos and my direct experiences with them. Like so many gifted scholars have confirmed, I have found that disclosure comes from the ancients of all corners of the globe, from the carvings and relics of the Maya to the Hopi to the Dogon to the ancient Egyptians and the Sumerians and Mesopotamians, etc. Cosmic beings have had a profound impact on our genetic evolution, environment, and culture. 5 out of my 15 UFO experiences happened exactly when I was in a state of the greatest peace I have ever felt, sending love and service into our world and beyond. It was at these times that the silent, bright white orbs appeared and slowly floated by,
One's identical in appearance to the pictures taken of orbs around the crop circles in southern England and such. One of these instances was at the Oregon Country Fair, a festival of love and light that brings together over 50,000 good people every summer. Via these experiences, I have come to conclude that these orb UFOs resonate with and are attracted to loving and positive psychic energy. As many are aware, I have discovered that the U.S. military builds many of its bases over planetary energy centers, portals, and stargates. I live by the Camp Pendleton Marine Base in San Diego and have had another 5 of my total UFO sightings nearby this base. As Jeffrey has been covering with one of these sightings, the crafts were triangular and astoundingly in the exact formation of Ursus Major. One last testimony I'll quick give is the life-changing UFO encounter a friend and I had in the Anza Borrego Desert State Park of Southern California. I was standing in the vastness of Big Blair Valley, and I put out a meditative prayer for some cosmic help down here with regard to the cabal. At the same moment I finished the supplication, a concussion of 2 otherworldly sonic booms hit the desert floor, literally shaking the ground and the mountains around us. Perhaps 7 minutes later, I spotted a triangular UFO over one of the adjacent mountains. It was a beautiful turquoise with effulgent white orbs at the end of each point. We watched in wonder as it shifted amorphously into other sacred geometrical platonic solids, such as the cylinder and rectangle. It also disappeared instantly from one location and reappeared in another. Since then, I've perused some maps of locations of deep underground military bases, those I believe created by the cabal, and that area of the desert was littered with them. Perhaps these were some of the benign beings from Procyon that the contactee Tolik refers to, removing some of these nefarious underground bases. Everything in my soul tells me that's what we witnessed. The following day was to blow my credulity wide open. We did the Pictographs hike, which leads to a grand monolith where the ancient Kumeyaay Native American shaman did spiritual research and dream search, leaving a pictorial story of their experience on the massive rock. They did this up to 6,000 years ago or more. As I adored the cosmic symbology, my jaw suddenly dropped. There, on the great rock, was a depiction of the exact same UFO we had seen the day before, in its triangular form.
Thank you very much, Jay.
Thank you very much, Jeffrey.
Links to more of Jay's work will be posted in the summary to this show. The Inlight Radio Group, the 2012 Scenario, and the Walk-In Network are pleased to again announce another addition to the speakers lineup at their conference in Sedona on the weekend of 26 to 28 October. What was originally a very strong desire to come to the conference as a participant and not a speaker led to synchronistic events that have allowed the conference organizers Sierra Neblina and Stephen Cook to now announce that well-known international channeler Blossom Goodchild will be attending as a scheduled presenter. Stephen caught up with Blossom Goodchild to seek her comments on now being able to not only attend, but also participate.
I feel, Steve, like I've already ascended. Basically, I can't take the grin off my face. I am just so excited to be there and to meet everybody that, you know, as Mike says, that we've been in contact with and supported each other for so long now. And to actually just have a hug with those people. I think I'm going to have my tissue box at the ready, because I think there'll be quite a few emotional tears. And with the energy of the actual place, I think Susie said it's going to rock. I think we're going to be on fire. So, you know, if somebody could bring the water and the air, we'll be all right.
So tell me, how did this all come about for you? Because you were sitting there at home hoping to be able to buy a ticket and wanting to come, but really not having the money to even walk out your front door, let alone get from Australia all the way to Sedona. So how did this all happen?
Well, it all happened, to be honest, because a gentleman in America who has, you know, been in contact because of, you know, my work, and he, bless him, has, you know, regularly, very kindly donated to my site to keep me up and cooking. And he sent me the link from 2012 to say that this was going on and that I heard about it. I just thought, oh, this is so exciting. And I made up my mind there and then that I was going to go, just to attend it, to be there in that energy with everybody. But I had no idea at all how. I just didn't know how that was going to happen. But I decided not to have one doubt about it. And a week later, I had an email from this gentleman to say that he would very much like to pay my expenses for me to get there. So that's how that came about. I nearly fell off my chair, and I'm going. So I was so excited to know that I was going to go there. So as you know, Steve, we've phoned each other a couple of times, and I just had to let you and Mike and Susie and everybody know, and Steve Beckow know that I was going. So as you know, I emailed you, and the next minute you were on the phone and we were talking, and I said I was so excited, and from there it came about that you then invited me to speak also. So it's like the most, everything I sort of could possibly wish for, in a sense, is just happening. I am just over the moon about it. I feel it will be absolutely, the energy there will lift everybody into space, perhaps.
And what about meeting all the people? I mean, obviously there'll be people who've read your blog, who've had your channeled messages for years, who were even around on October 14, 2008. So how do you feel about meeting all those people that are coming?
I just think it's amazing, really, because over the years, a lot of people have written in saying, are you ever coming to America? When will you come to America, Blossom? And can't you do something over here? And I'm just like, well, perhaps one day I will, I'll leave that up to the universe. And so to actually meet, all these people, I've never been to the States in my life. I'm really not a great traveller. I lived in England and moved to Australia, and that's about as huge as that is. That's it, really. It's incredible. And to do this whole journey on my own is going to be an experience in itself.
What do you know about Sedona?
Only that the energy of it is supposed to be really high, and that it's a very, and the little I do know about it is a very high, high level of UFO sightings there, etc. So, I mean, that in itself, with the conference and being there, it's going to, we're going to need bricks in our shoes to keep us grounded.
The conference is about Ascension in December 21 and what lies ahead. So what sort of things do you feel as though you may be talking about on the day?
Well, to me, I think really it'll be about what the Federation talk about the most, and that is about to remember who we are and to be love. And by being that love and just enjoying life, that's how we are raising the vibration and raising the planet in order to help it ascend, and that's what we're here to do. So really, it's just about us will be talking about having a laugh and having a bit of fun every day. White cloud could pop down. Who knows what's going to happen?
So what's the most exciting thing you're looking forward to, if there is one thing?
It's the whole package of meeting everybody and what I'm going to learn as well. I'm always open to learning stuff from all these other teachers there. It's just the whole thing.
Sales for the conference have been going extremely well, and it has been estimated that if the current trend of sales continues, the conference could sell out sometime during the coming week. Reservations can be made by going to the2012scenario.com website and clicking on the conference icon on the right side. In financial news this week, there have been indications of another round of quantitative easing being brought in, what is now the third round, or QE3. A quick search online using the search terms Ben Bernanke insane reveals several financial sources that are now stepping out and openly questioning the tactics of the Federal Reserve Chairman. It seems that very little faith is being exhibited both in Bernanke and his solution of QE3. These rumblings could have immediate and rather significant repercussions. A gentle reminder, however, from our galactic families that the breakdown of the current financial system is necessary so that everyone can see very clearly what has been done to the people of the world and why. so that they will understand and better accept the incoming temporary financial system that is due to replace it. In a late arriving story within the last hour, Steve Beko shared information with me that was received via Archangel Michael with regards to events that have taken place this week and why. In consultation with Archangel Michael today, Michael informs us that much the same as happened on September the 11th, 2001, the events that unfolded on the 11th this year were again designed to prevent or at least delay the announcement of a new financial system, what some are calling NESARA. According to Michael, the decision was made to delay the announcement because of the events that have taken place during the week. Michael, however, was also firm in indicating that this would only be a short delay and not a long-term one. This may fall into alignment with some news that I originally was hesitant in reporting due to the unfamiliarity of the sources. However, there is a source who has released a video indicating that a very significant event, one that is being called a time drop, is to take effect between the 16th and 17th. I cannot yet verify the authenticity of this source, so discernment is required. I do not know how this time drop is calculated, what it means exactly, although the graph indicates a huge and significant drop in something during this time frame. The video will be posted in the summary for your review. The source also notes that some interesting astrological alignments are happening during the same period. In another possibly related event, Carrie Cassidy from Project Camelot has apparently received some information alleging that U.S. and Chinese ships have been seen off the coast of San Francisco. She indicates that 3 sources have reported this. The sources also allege that these ships may be tied to coming events related to arrests in the banking industry. According to the source website, an unknown number of U.S. Navy ships and Chinese vessels are present, and this source was told that this involves the arrest of possibly 600 bankers who may be being held on a U.S. ship and under arrest by the criminal court in The Hague. It is alleged that the arrests are being carried out by the U.S. military. In a later posting, Ms. Cassidy writes that she later received a threatening phone call advising her not to report on these specific events. Links are in the summary, and it is advised that the discernment is used. Also related on a galactic level, the Galactic Free Press has reported that a planet-wide portal has opened on September the 9th, and more in-depth information can be viewed on the link to their page, as I did not have time to fully review the article before airtime. News that CBN will be watching over the coming days in what the Keshe Foundation has called the greatest disclosure ever to be released to the world, what some of us might call the second greatest disclosure after our galactic families. The Keshe Foundation had its World Peace Invitation and release of technology. In a follow-up to a meeting with ambassadors on April 21st, the invitation was extended to ambassadors and leaders to attend a presentation on September the 6th. The reason for the meeting on the 6th was a prelude to another announcement. On September 21st, the Foundation will release the first phase of its space technology and the gravitational agravs systems it has developed to scientists around the world simultaneously for production and duplication. According to the Foundation, from the moment of this release and its development, international borders will cease to have any real significance. Once the first flight system has been built and put into operation for the public, the time of travel from Tehran to New York, for example, will be about 10 minutes. CBN has made contact with the Keshe Foundation. Short interview for next week. It is hoped that they will kindly agree so that there will be more information available to share next Friday on next Friday's show. So that is the Unfolding Consciousness news around the world this week. Cosmic Vision News is a part of the Inlight radio group of programs heard at this local time each week. Thank you for sharing your time with me. I'm Jeffrey West, reminding you that time spent in getting even would be better spent in getting ahead. Until our next moment of now, stay grounded in love, hold the vision of light and peace in your heart, and keep your eyes to the skies. Disclosure is unfolding all around you. Namaste.
Thank You White Knights is supported by ExclusiveWellnessClub.com, home of wellness products for the health conscious such as MMS1 and 2, Lugol's iodine, DMSO, colloidal silver and MSM at ExclusiveWellnessClub.com. Shipping outside the United States available. Link below. This is Thank You White Knights, and I hope you enjoyed this video. For updates and to go to the source of this article, please find the link below the YouTube screen while watching in YouTube. For the latest news and updates, please visit thankyouwhiteknights.com.